Hello everyone, I'm back with another video for you today, and I figured it was time to do a Swordcraft video, because I haven't really played very much Swordcraft, even last patch when mid-range sword was very strong. Now we have loot Swordcraft, and we're going to be using Sinkiro, of course, this very powerful new card that I'm sure you've seen at some point, being able to fuse the loot cards and then deal a big amount of damage to the board and the enemy's face. If you have fused several loot cards, you've got the Super Evolve doubling that effect. So you can deal 8 damage with this guy very easily without much of a commitment. Obviously a Super Evolve, but yeah, we're going to be using him in conjunction with things like Odin, the tried and true, and perhaps Albert to finish the game. And yeah, you've got some other ways to deal face damage in the deck. The Autrice allows you to get this Remnant of Hollowness, which can deal 4 damage to the face potentially if the board is empty. And, in general, the Gilded Blade is also another source of damage. So we've got a lot of ways to sort of go face and chip in the damage here and there. Quick Blader, for the turn 1 potentially, and then the new usurpation cards, which will give us all of the different loot cards that we can then use in conjunction with the Sinkiro to hopefully finish out the game. I do have Amelia in the deck to have a bit more card draw. I think that's probably helpful. There are going to be some games where we, are lacking the juice, and this card will help us to draw things like the Sinkiro, the Albert, and the like. So I only got 2 of Supplicant. I don't feel like this card is particularly strong because it's a 1-2. I'd much rather have that 2-1 stat line on the early game, and 2 of the Lair of Usurpation as well, which is giving us, of course, the loot cards. We do have Congregant in the deck, 3 of, very strong card, allowing you to quite easily destroy the opponent's units with the 3 damage whenever you fuse or play a loot card. So that one's quite nice. And then, of course, there's the Returning Slash, another loot synergistic card, which will give you a Gilded Blade and draw you through the deck a little bit extra stuff if we have already fused a loot card to it. So yeah, I'm pretty interested to give this one a go and see how strong Swordcraft is. We've, of course, still got Zirconia and Vals, some of the very strong Swordcraft cards that should help us in the early game to, push things in our favour. So that's the deck. Should be quite a strong one. Sorry, the QR code is there. I forgot it, I'm afraid. But yeah, let's jump into some games and see what we can do with this deck. Okay, going to be a little bit of Runecraft. First opponent, I want to say quite a tricky matchup, potentially. It might even be worse for Loot Swordcraft than it was for mid-range in the past. I'm not 100% sure on that, but... okay, we have quite a solid hand, I feel like, here. Got the Luminous, got the Congregant, and the Sinkiro. The question is, do I mulligan one of these? I probably do, to be honest, because we want to find different loot cards. It doesn't make that much sense to get a bunch of copies of the same thing, so I think I will get rid of him. Keep the Luminous, and hopefully draw maybe another 2-drop. I want to keep Sinkiro in the hand if I find him, I think, because he is sort of the main power play in the deck, the real juice that we want to be using to get things done. And we redraw, of course, the classic Shadowverse experience. Do we coin out Lance Trooper? I don't think I can really afford to, because I don't have another 2-drop on hand. So I think I'm going to play it a little bit safe and, be patient with that. We can go with it now. And then probably coin out the Congregant, ends up, being okay. I mean, in this case, we only have 1 target to fuse. We cannot fuse multiple cards with him, so it's not exactly the best. I think I will still coin him out. It's quite a threatening play. At least you have the 3 damage, and the Gilded Boots can even be played out here, potentially, because we have another one, in our hand. Just got to make sure I play somewhat on a curve. We need to try to overwhelm the Runecraft, in terms of the damage quite rapidly before they get all their healing available and whatnot. But here I'm sort of thinking we may even just want to evolve and go face. I could play another Congregant, but that doesn't seem that worthwhile. Could also Vals, but a similar thought there. Doesn't seem that good. Maybe we just fuse, and we could even play another one, to be fair. Although, yeah, I mean, is there any downside to that, really? I don't think so. It uses the mana efficiently. Of course, it's a bit of a waste of the damage, I guess you could say. There's sort of an argument to maybe just play him out, Evo the one we have on board to get the point back, and then... I think I like this play the most. Evo him back to get the play point, and we can then use the boots to deal a little bit more damage. Also a bit of a chunkier body, so an is not going to be quite so miserable for me. So we probably want to, it doesn't really matter which one we boost, to be honest. They're all, you know, it's all kind of the same deal in the end. I guess we can do it on her in case there's a Burgent. And here we go, we're dealing a lot of damage to the face. With a Sinkiro to follow up, we can, of course, fuse away the cards and get us some extra damage to help clear the board if we need that. Of course, they want to kill my 3/3 with this effect, so that's kind of good for me. So we're not really getting the fuse value because they did clear everything, which is kind of annoying. What can we do here? What can we cook up? We've got basically an Albert or a Valse play. That's pretty much what it comes down to. I could try to push more damage here. It's probably wise to do that. Maybe clearing this with the Valse, playing the Gilded Boots. That being said, we really want to fuse in the Gilded Boots, so it might be time actually to just take a turn off and chill. We can, you know, begin to fuse things here, I guess. I really do want to make sure. There's sort of no reason to fuse right away, to be honest, if we want to be completely correct about things. But yeah, I think we need to play Valse to deal with that. And yeah, we're going to chill. Of course, we could play a Gilded Goblet, but that doesn't really do anything. So I'll just be patient here. I don't think pushing in and trying to bash them is going to really achieve very much. You know, we're going to just miss our Sinkiro value in that case. We do need to find more components for him to be really, you know, popping off and doing well for us, but we've got some plays available to us here. So perhaps we do want to fuse now, play the Amelia. There's Albert as a play, but I don't really like that. We could also coin Odin, which isn't the most, you know, unreasonable thing. It's not too bad. I would like, though, to get the Sinkiro online if possible, so I think that means an Amelia play, and try to find some of our, you know, synergy. I'll keep the Goblet on hand. There's not really any reason to fuse that. Okay, Zirconia is a draw. We can also just play Lance Trooper here. Not exactly what I was looking for, to be honest. I don't really want to use my, you know, my fuse. Do we super evolve this? I mean, we're gonna miss out on the potential to, you know, Sinkiro into Albert, but it does make my board a lot scarier. I think I probably should super evolve this. So it's just going to mean my Albert probably has to be regular evolved, so we only have 10 damage output here, which is not exactly ideal. I have already played a Norman, which is pretty good into us, you know, a lot of healing. Of course, that's what Runecraft is good at. I think Runecraft ends up being probably the best, if not, you know, one of the best, if not the best deck in the meta now. Just the matchup spread seems really good to me. And yeah. There was an argument to maybe play Odin that turn, just push a bit of face damage, but I then feel like the Quan would really make life difficult. Of course, Sinkiro could be used for board clear, but as things currently stand, we're a little bit struggling to, you know, get enough fuse cards to make that work. Interestingly, actually evolved this. That definitely makes my Odin very strong, so I'm going to go with Odin here, and I think it might just be time to begin pressuring the face in a big way, right? We've got the Albert next turn, so I could just Evo the face and then, you know, go for the Albert play. It's a bit telegraphed, though, to be honest, and in some way I would rather hold the Evo, just in case we have to play a bit of a longer game. We'll go face with everything, though. We're still, you know, in lethal range with the Albert, so they have to heal regardless, and adding another 2 damage to that would not really change things, so I mean, I suppose it would mean 1 Sage Light wouldn't quite be enough to heal them out of range. So maybe there's an argument to Evo and just go for it. I think it's okay, though. Now I can just go with an Albert with a regular evolve, and that's going to be quite a threat, to be honest, for them. So I don't think we even need the Sinkiro, really. We can just go with him, you know, punch out a ton of damage. If they want to Norman, it's going to use their last evolve, which is not really good news for them. And it's actually also not enough healing. They would need another heal on top of that to be out of, you know, second Albert range. Of course, they can maybe play some golems and survive in that way, although Sinkiro is waiting in the wings, ready to deal 4 damage as well here. Bear in mind, he only, you know, it's got to be different loot cards that you fuse. so having the Goblet Diffuse doesn't really help. Okay, they're declimbing, so this is pretty dire straits for the opponent. They've really got to find something very good to be able to survive. I suppose this is one of the powers of Swordcraft, like you do just go face quite aggressively, particularly when you're going second and have the coin for Albert. It's very strong. Not really doing anything particularly new in this game with the Sinkira or whatever, but could consider running a few more loot cards. I think the 1 mana card is quite good because it does give you two loot cards with a single card, which, you know, the 2-drops require that you actually that you actually draw, that they actually die on the board, should I say. Okay, so not quite enough healing there. They didn't find the Norman and they had to dig for it, so we'll take a pretty chill win. The Swordcraft experience, a little bit ooga booga, go face, and win games. Strong deck. Okay, let's go into another game, shall we? Okay, now a bit of a mirror match of some kind. Maybe they are playing the same deck. Maybe ooh, a treasure chest as well. That'd be nice if we could get that. Going first, usually not so good, but that might not even be true. If we can find a 1 mana card to play, perhaps. I like the 2-drop, I like the 3-drop. Perhaps we mulligan the rest, and we at least have a decent early curve. I hope to draw 1. Okay, we don't find it, it seems, which is a little bit sad. We also drew more 3s, which is not necessarily the best, but I'm happy I have the Autrice. That could be a good turn 3. Looks like just mid-range sword coming in. I'm kind of okay with that. I'll play my Supplicant and then Valse. I suppose there's an argument to look for Sinkiro. I'm not sure. I think probably having the cards on curve is also reasonable. And here Valse is looking very, very important, so I'm going to play him trade off. And so far so good. We're doing pretty decently in the early game. Don't have the fuse again. We probably would love to see the Sinkiro in hand, right? That's one thing that may be worth just mulliganing hard for. I'm not entirely sure. I've got to be a little bit careful here, though. Okay, we did find Sinkiro. That's beautiful. So perhaps we go Congregant and kill this. I would like to play this, though, potentially as a way to just completely clear up the board. Of course, Zirconia may come and cause me some slight issues. Do we want a Valse? Can we Autrice? How much damage can we deal? If we play an Autrice now, of course, she speeds up whenever you fuse and play loot cards, so quite a good one, potentially. The problem with the Congregant that I'm seeing is we can only really fuse once, so it's not actually going to be that much, damage coming out. I think I'd probably still go with it. This might be a bit scary, to be honest. Let's see. We don't need to get the evolve on her, that's sort of okay. If we get it, as the opponent somehow leaves it alive, then sure, but probably that's not going to happen. So let's see how much we can do with this. I guess we can play 1 loot card in addition, so 6 damage. And we can evolve him to get the play point, so I guess we can even kill another unit on top of that if we so desire. We probably will, so yeah, we can deal quite a lot of damage with the Congregant here, even if we fuse everything into Sinkiro. And he's Gilded Goblet and Boots, so keeping that in mind for sure. Okay, so what was that? How did they even deal with it here? They just played Gilded Boots with... what did they even play, actually? Barely even saw. Okay, the Devotee. I see. That makes sense. Okay, I mean, I could just play an Albert out, just for tempo sake. Go face, perhaps. It's a bit annoying having this Lance Trooper on the board. If they go with, there's quite a few cards that could be a real irritation. I don't really want to play the Congregant. I think it's a very good way to clear the board for us. So I think just getting the Albert down, putting pressure on the face because they've not developed a very scary board, I think it's good for me. If they had evoed this, it would be a different story, and maybe we'd be playing a Valse or a Congregant, but yeah, I'm not too afraid. There's no Odin potential, so I'm just going to keep it chill. If they try to develop a big board, I've got the Congregant, and yeah, we'll see. Maybe I'll play that here. I'm a little bit worried about sort of overcommitting with that play. It looks okay. Looks okay for us here. They do take the heal. I'll probably do the same. I don't really want my health to be too low. I could, I suppose, deal 1 damage, but we don't even have the, you know, the follow-up just yet. Actually, honestly, Val's is looking quite good. I suppose we're just playing it quite slow at that point, though. Is that going to be a problem? We could even Amelia Vals. I think that's maybe a good play. Yeah, I like that. Just thin the deck a little bit and hopefully find more ways to, you know, deal with what's going on. I could even fuse. I suppose I should be fusing, you know, here and there, right? To trigger my Patrice crest. That's probably something I should be doing because you can only fuse once per turn. So generally speaking, fusing, you know, fusing once per turn is probably the way to do it. So we'll take the gilded, I guess Goblet and Boots are probably better, generally speaking, because you get the damage to the face potential, trading potential, and healing. And Congregant's also giving us those things, so hopefully here we can use Congregant to deal with their Vals. That's one reason I was thinking it was not a good idea to play the 6-mana Vals. That could have been problematic. Okay, so Congregant here looks really good. Can also maybe play an Ortrice, maybe even with an Evolve. I'm not sure quite how it will work with the. It's probably not good to play her into the current crest that we have, you know, for somewhat obvious reasons. So here I think we fuse the blade. We can fuse everything, to be honest, just to make sure that he's operational. If that's even correct, honestly, I'm not sure it is. We're going to play a Goblet, I think, here as well. Let's just fuse Blade for time being. Make sure my Ortrice is triggering, and we can play a Goblet as well, I think. And he'll need to fuse still Boots and Goblet, so we'll probably take Boots and Goblet with the Lair. But yeah, I think Flash Step here also looks pretty good, right? We can play him. I think the matchup is actually arguably somewhat slow, right? I think we can play the Boots here, though, for the damage. Yes, we don't have the card available for the next Congregant, but we can always, you know, we can always use him, use his Boots and Goblet and whatnot. But yeah, I like this. Just push a bit of damage without the Evo. Maybe the Evo is correct, just to really threaten stuff. It looks like they're just going to go for the Albert line here. Okay, we're definitely winning in terms of Evos at the moment. And I think if we can heal here, we should be in pretty good shape. And we can do that, of course, with the Goblet and the Goblet. So I will go for that play. We're gonna need to do that, right? Not really negotiable. I could go Zirconia as well. No, I can't really go Zirconia. Not enough mana, so it's probably just going to be going face. But yeah, we've got to heal up. So Goblet play. And we trigger this for another Goblet. And we can play that, kill that. And then I'm going to Evo the Flash Step. I'm pretty sure we've got another Flash Step as well. That's going to be game. You have quite a bit of healing, so the mirror is kind of interesting, to be honest. It's, you know, quite about getting board control and just playing more efficiently. But yeah, very nice. Ooh, I got the sleeves already. That was quite a fast one. Should we play another game? Another Runecraft. Seems like they're already back. Runecraft's back on the job. Not too surprised by that, to be honest, but yeah, what can you do? Okay, so Lair, Luminous, and Congregant. Pretty good. I think I'll mulligan the Albert. While it is a great card, I think I'm pretty happy with the curve. I do want to try to find perhaps Zirconia. These cards I'm pretty happy with, though. I don't know. Difficult, to be honest, to know whether to mulligan anything more. Okay, Sinkira is a great draw. I'm very happy with that. But yeah, I think here we're... Oh, yeah, another fuse as well. Play the Lair. Turn 1, sorry. Did I say Lair? I was trying to say Lair. Not sure why. Congregant coined out here can be very, very strong at some point. Might just be a returning slash, though. I don't really want my Lance Trooper to get Penelope'd. We could, of course, take the fuse with the Lair of Usurpation. Take the Gilded Blade, of course, and you know, get the returning slash going. Maybe with a coining out of Luminous. I think it's just got to be the play, to be honest. I think it's just got to be the play. So we're fusing the Blade because we're going to get another one of those back when we play returning slash. We could have just, I suppose, played it without the thinning. But okay, oh, we drew a quick step. Nice. That's quite useful. Can push a little bit of damage as well. Got some good targets for the Senkiro. There's not really any reason to fuse them. We don't have Ottery's crest on the board, so we can just keep it chill. I actually much prefer this kind of Swordcraft compared to the mid-range. It feels like there's a little bit more of a decision space to be sort of experimenting with, so I'm quite happy about that. So we probably play Luminous here, and we have the option of going with the Coin Albert if they really don't play anything, just to push damage in. Since we have two of them in hand, I'm perhaps quite happy to do that. Quite a slow start, just because they have the 2-drop. Which is, you know, maybe not ideal. Okay, they do have the this guy, Edelweiss, which is a little bit problematic for us. I suppose we can go with the Congregant regardless, though. Ottery's is also an option, but Congregant here looks pretty good, just to, you know, clean things up a little bit. Of course, we get our various trinkets to fuse together. We probably want to play one, maybe as boots. Although Blade can be gained from Ottery's, so I'm sort of feeling like the play is we fuse the necklace and we play the Blade out, and then we go for an evolve on Ottery's later to get those back, basically. Oh wait, is that right? I guess we can fuse that one. That's okay. We're gonna get the necklace anyway, but my brain is not quite working with the loots. I don't think I've done anything wrong there per se, but yeah, the question here is, do we coin out? I think we probably coin out the Blade just to push damage, really. Just push damage and go face it a little bit. Now, do I Evo this? That is a valid question. I think I will. I think we probably have enough Evos to spare. I might end up regretting this, but push a bit of damage in. Of course, the 5-drop's going to come. We then play Ottery's, I think, into it. And probably just allow it to live. The Annangrehr. Which is a little bit scary. I mean, we do play quite hard into it by Evoing, which is what I was a bit, you know, a bit concerned about, but hopefully it's okay. So we fused Necklace so far, and that's it. It could be a Zirconia play as well, I guess. Zirconia instead of Ottery's. We're going to need to play the Ottery's if we want the big damage. You know, the maximum damage, and I am sort of interested in getting the crest ticking. So let's do that. We can even play one of the things out here, I think. We can play the necklace. The rest we probably want to fuse away. And the necklace I can play, I've already fused one, so we'll just give this ward. Might at least make it so I'm taking a little bit less damage. We can fuse the Blade, or, to be honest, the boots. I suppose either of them doesn't really make a difference, I guess. Probably boots is a bit better for us. The goblet as well. Maybe goblet's not too necessary here. And we just want to fuse one, you know, per turn to get the Ottery's thing triggering. Okay, end my turn now. It's not super ideal, but maybe we can go with the Senkiro next turn just to clear the board and deal the 8 damage, and then follow up with Albert for lethal. There's potential there to be doing that. Depending on how many heals the opponent has, how much, you know, in the way of blocking me. It's very nice that they have Senkiro on curve, though. I feel like that play is extremely strong. Potentially. They probably will want to play around it by not playing units. Like a Quan or whatnot would be a bit troublesome. Yeah, a tricky one. Do we even play it now? I've got these Alberts that could just be sent to the face. You know, they could just be sent to the face, and then you've got Senkiro as the follow-up. Interesting one. I don't want to take too much damage, but at the same time, we can probably end the game relatively quickly. I think I do want to fuse, you know, and get the countdown going as much as possible. So I think the play here is a little bit unorthodox, but actually it's just Albert go face. Yeah, see what happens. I mean, I could go for the Senkiro, the 8 damage, but I think just dealing a little bit of cheeky cheeky damage. Puts them in a little bit closer to being in range. Not quite yet able to kill them, but they're probably not going to go with a Quan here to push damage. I'd be surprised. Taking 6 to the face here is a little bit scary, but I think it should be okay. I'm basically saying that my Sinkuro will clear the board, and then I'm going to be able to follow up with Albert to kill them next turn, and the 3 damage chip is probably relevant, is my thinking. But yeah, certainly not the easiest time here. The cards I've got have been a little bit scuffed. You probably don't want triple Albert in hand, that's not necessarily great. And maybe I'm getting a little bit punished for evoing the Storm, you know, the Quick Blade, Quick Step. Because I could have had an evo on the Zirconia or whatever to reapply pressure and not take more damage, but, well, I'm learning. I'm learning as I go here. I haven't played too many games with this, but certainly having more fun with this Swordcraft build compared to mid-range, which is good. That's a good thing. I'm glad they've put a bit of a more, you know, interesting, mechanically speaking, deck, you know, for Swordcraft. That is good. Okay, well, it's getting a little bit spooky, but I do still have the Albert coming soon, so I think I have to Sinkuro now. It's getting a bit scary not to. That being said, I could just Odin and go face if we want to keep it slow. The problem then is if they go Quan into Quan, I'm in mega danger. So, you know, that being said, even a Quan into the Sinkuro is quite troublesome. So, I'm not sure what I'd rather play around, Quan into Quan or, you know, the potential or other problems. So I don't know. Probably at Sinkuro because then I just don't really love the follow-up, to be honest. Tricky. I mean, if we had more health, Odin, of course, would look really good. It would look really good. I sort of want to go in. I just know that Quan's going to come, and then I've got to just think about what the next play is. So I think we play around them not having. I could even just evo him, to be honest. But no, I think not. I think not, because again, we won't be able to lethal through a Quan anyway. So I don't think that's worth doing. When we have the, you know, the Otris card, we can actually combo it with Sinkuro to deal 12 damage. So that's, or maybe even 13 if they have a very big unit. So that's something to think about. Because he's very cheap. It's a 7 mana combo with the Super Evo, 12 damage. So it's another way to do a very similar to Albert kind of play. But we're taking it a little bit slow here. Maybe Albert next if we can get away with it. And yeah, really the threat is that they have double Quan. But looks like they didn't have it, so... Or Odin, for that matter. My health is quite low. We're just sort of playing the dangerous game here. But yeah, sort of had to be played in this way. I think after I committed the Evo to the quick step, that might have been a mistake, honestly. Wow, they're drawing cards with Norm. That's sort of surprising because they're going to overdraw, unless they have a 0 mana card. I guess they're really looking for healing, or I'm not sure what, or Quan's win conditions, I suppose. So Albert here looks really, really good. We can clear up and deal 12 damage. And next turn we have Sinkuro for 12 damage, which is pretty much impossible for them to stop, to be honest. I don't think you can really easily stop the 12 damage Sinkuro play when you have that Otris card. So yeah, we're kind of showing why Swordcraft is one of the better decks in the game at the moment. Maybe even, yeah, definitely S tier, I think, this sort of loot Swordcraft build can beat very many things. Okay, they're going with the healing Penelope option. Yeah, fair enough. Not the first time I've seen that today, but I don't think that's enough to really bail them out, unless they find more healing, to be fair. If they find more healing, they can be okay here. At least for another turn. And to be fair, that can be enough to win them the game, because, you know, the Quan can come, and I'm not quite sure how I deal with, you know, the Quan. I mean, it's probably just going to kill me, isn't it? Okay, so we're 1 damage off lethal. That's quite unfortunate. There's not really much to be done. I probably just play Albert and chill, and I hope there's no Quan. If there is, I'm dead. But yeah, they managed to find the good stuff. Fair enough, well played. Penelope bailing them out, which is quite fun. Yeah, I thought we had them here, to be honest, but getting to 13, there's just so much healing in Runecraft, isn't there? I'm wondering if there's any play that I should consider other than an Albert. I could consider Kiro, but I think either way, well, we're dead if there's a Quan, right? We are just super dead if there is a Quan. I could Synkiro, but I think it's better to push the face damage with the Albert. And to be honest, since we're dying to a Quan anyway, I think it makes sense just to send this both to the face. Strangely, bizarrely, in case there is more healing. Got to play to our outs. I mean, it's very likely they have Quan at this point, so when they heal that much, you know, you're pretty sure that you've lost, I think, at that point. GG. Can go out if they want me to forfeit. Very good. Yeah, a little bit of a rough early game. I think here the lesson is maybe not evoing the face, right? Better to save the evo for Zirconia or something like that. So we'll take a loss. Let's go for one more game. I feel like this deck is very much about pressuring the health total and doing it in the most efficient way possible. Probably you really do want to save evos in this deck because there's a lot of great targets for your evos. I think using them to push face damage is maybe not the way, unless they're a deck that's not got much healing at all. Okay, we've got 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop. I like that. The question is Devotee a better play than the Luminous? I think it probably is. Luminous is quite a threat, and the Devotee will just sort of die, to be fair. So maybe, you know, maybe we do get rid of it. Yeah, actually. Got the 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop. I think I just keep this and we try to pressure and see what else we get. Okay, Congregant is fine. That's okay. We're going to end up redrawing it anyway because the mulligans are bloody broken in this game. They're just broken. I swear the game is bugged. It's not just confirmation bias whenever I see this happen. But okay, we've got Luminous now. I probably play it. I mean, I could play Devotee to eat some of the puppets if we assume nothing is going to live anyway. Devotee is a potential, you know, follow-up play in some way. But, you know, I sort of would like to get these cards into my hand, potentially. Tricky one. I think Luminous is better for the potential of pushing damage, but I don't suppose it's going to be that, you know, that impactful here. They probably just heal any chip damage we do anyway. If they're playing the egg deck. But we'll see. We'll see. Might be okay here. Okay, they do just want to set up an egg. Kill one of my guys. So at least we get to chip a bit of damage here. We can play the Devotee. We can even play Otrice. Otrice is maybe a bit better because we get the crest. I'm happy to see that. And yeah, we can push a bit of damage in. Not sure if they'll struggle to deal with this, really. I mean, the damage just gets healed off, so it's kind of irrelevant. Yudi, I'm quite okay to see that. We've got Vals, potentially. Could even play the Devotee. Could even play Congregant, but he doesn't really get anything done here, so... because I don't have a fuse target, unfortunately, so I'll just play Vals. Keep it chill. Really hope we draw the Synkiro. That would be a good card to have, of course. I think this matchup's certainly winnable for them if we aren't able to find our, you know, really... Albert and Synkiro, those cards are important. They have quite decent tools for dealing with our aggression, in terms of the just non-stop healing, a lot of control cards, etc. Okay, an interesting turn here. How do we want to go about doing this? I've got the Congregant. We could maybe play one of the cards of the Congregant. Perhaps the Boots could be quite good on the Luminous here. I think that is going to be the play. And then we've got Vals. Perhaps we can set him up as an ambush unit. Then again, they've got Melodious, which can kill him, which is a bit, you know, suboptimal, not ideal. Now the question is, do we need to go face here? I mean, I know I just said a second ago that, you know, that's not generally a good idea if they've got healing. I'm just a bit concerned. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to win the game. Otherwise, I think I should probably even... tricky. Like, the question is, are we really just trying to pressure the health total here? Or are we going to need the Evo for something? Well, I think it's probably okay to use it, to be honest. Just go face. And yeah, they've got a lot of healing, so this might backfire, to be honest. We've got double Albert though, so that represents a lot of damage in hand. Maybe difficult for them to heal if they don't have a Sylvia or something like this. I'm not entirely sure this matchup's great for us, honestly. Certainly we can just try to pressure a lot and maybe get evos from them. Okay, this is quite a nice way for them to clear our board. Okay, Sinkiro, that is a fantastic draw. Basically perfect, you know, in terms of what we need. So we can begin fusing, for sure. We can begin fusing. I'm happy to get rid of a goblet here. No reason not to. Tick down the Otrice. And the question is, do we go face, or do we try to get more, you know, more cards that will synergize with the Sinkiro? That is a big question. We've got a Valse as well, could be played here, if we want to just chill. They did just use the sort of good answer to him. They have already played a Melodious thing, right? So, might be that Valse is quite hard to deal with. Tricky. This is a tricky turn. I feel like every play is viable in some way. You know, the Albert, the Devotee, the Valse, all quite playable. In a way, Devotee Valse might just be the best way to do it. Sort of safest approach in terms of getting our Sinkiro juiced up. But then again, Albert, you know, represents a lot of damage. I think Devotee and Valse is correct though. I do. And I can even play. No, I can't play the boots. I could have played Goblet, so I probably should have maybe played. Then again, don't want to play into Odin. Banish on this would be a bit annoying. Yeah, I mean, I think this is just the safest line, things considered. Next turn we go Albert, and then next turn we go Sinkiro, provided we're not getting pressured on the health total too much. Certainly Evo on this is a solid enough play. We might have to go with Sinkiro next, just to not die. Clear the board, and all the rest of it. It's obviously a bit better to do, you know, Sinkiro sort of when you've got the Otrice crest, but here we could you know, we could go with a Congregant. I'm feeling it's a little bit slow. It feels like I'm playing a little bit slowly. I might just get pressured, to be honest, myself. But it's hard for them to kill me because I do have goblets to heal, right? We've already fused a goblet, so we're free to play the rest. Yeah, I think it's going to be the Congregant here. Looks really strong to me. We can just then play basically goblet boots. Or even, we don't have to play the boots, to be honest. We can just fuse the boots. Make sure that fuse has been completed. But yeah, probably goblets. And to be honest, we could play Remnant as well. I don't really see a reason not to at this point in time. Seems okay, right? Just deal the 4 damage. That's what it's there for. Their health is, you know, getting a bit lower. Getting a bit lower for sure. And what have we fused? We fused boots and goblet. So our Lair of Usurpation is going to be Necklace and Blade. I probably should have even triggered it there because the possibility of Odin ruining that for us is very real. And there he is. He is going to kill the 3/3 though, so on the bright side, you know, that's not too much of a problem. So we could go Sinkiro now for the 8 damage, and then setting up the Albert. I kind of like that play. Very unlikely to be dying. Is 8 damage going to be enough? Well, they've got 1 healing, and they've got the potential for Sylvia for 4. So that would be 5 healing, so they'd still be in range. There's also the possibility of wards coming, but yeah, I think Sinkiro has to be the play here. So we need to get the blade and the necklace, of course, first. Fuse those together. And our Sinkiro is active, we just play him now. Create a big chunky threat, deal a lot of damage to the face, and then we have the Albert finisher, and into another Albert if we even need it. That should be good. And then we have boots on the final Albert to make him even bigger. So it's kind of all gone very smoothly, I feel like, but we'll see if they can either heal or ward up in a way that, you know, makes it difficult for me to kill them. It's very possible we're not killing them next turn, and then they might have lethal on me, to be honest, now that I've, you know, already done all my healing. I don't have much more in the way of that. But let's see here. At a certain point, we've just got to play our cards in the way that they're supposed to be played, right? And see whether we have the kill or not. But yeah, the decks felt quite smooth to me, to be honest. It seemed to be working quite nicely. I like the ratios. I think the Amelia can be helpful at times as well. That's a card you could consider cutting for more early game stuff, potentially. Okay, I've got Olivia. Really mostly scared of a ward coming now. That could be problematic. Particularly with a Super Evo on Olivia. Just a very scary board that I then have to trade in with Albert. Yeah, and it's Axia, of course. That makes sense. It's not over, but this is definitely a very annoying play. Because I'm very much at risk of dying if I... Oh, there's Odin. Interesting. Do we Odin? Doesn't help that much, to be honest. I'd probably still go with Albert. And we just have the sort of 10 damage Albert ready, waiting, you know. It's actually 11... Oh, it's 12 again, isn't it? Because it's basically the same as the regular one. So that might catch them out. I think we've got to go with this play. I don't want to leave anything alive, and this does deal more damage than the Odin, so seems like a better move. But yeah, I think we have to trade here. I can't allow them to just hit me with the 7. That's going to be really, really bad. But yeah, we still have a lot of damage coming in. They might not play around the Albert plus Gilded Boots factor for 12. They may only play around 10 damage. That can be our hope here. Of course, Odin as well represents 7 through a ward. So that's another option. Obviously not quite enough to kill the opponent. Definitely tricky. We might end up being in a situation where we both have no Evos and it's just a sort of grind. But they do have these eggs, which is really an issue. And I don't really have many good grind cards. Like Gildaria and all that kind of stuff. So I think really the hope here is that either they don't put up a ward or the they cannot heal beyond our lethal threshold with Albert. Let's see what they do. Okay, a bit more card draw. Perhaps that means they don't have a good answer. Okay, ooh. This is just enough to survive. Is it? No? Okay, it's only 3. Only a heal for 3. Gosh, that is a close game. I think we just about get there, don't we? Because again, not playing around the... yeah, I had a feeling this would get them in the end. We've got the boots to finish them off. Very nice. Wow, close game. Close game. This can be a tricky matchup, I think. But we have managed to get there with just maximizing every single card to the fullest potential. I'm happy with that win. Close one, though. Very close. Anyway, that will do it for me with Swordcraft. I do like this deck a lot, actually. It's quite fun. I'm surprised how fun it is for a Swordcraft deck. Definitely would be the way I choose to play this faction if I end up playing more with it. Anyway, hope that was informative and useful to see, or at least a bit entertaining. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Subscribe for more decks and videos as always, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.